Hi, I'm Brandy Williams, founder of Williams Accounting and Tax Services in McDonough, Georgia. We're a full-service accounting firm proudly serving clients nationwide, including military families and U.S. expats. With over 20 years of experience as an IRS-enrolled agent, we've got you covered from past tax returns to business services and strategic tax planning. Visit WilliamsActTax.com. Let's get connected and take your finances to the next level.
What's up, everybody? This is Girl Erica from the Classic Clown blog. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Put a 1 in the chat. Drop your city and state. I hope you all are doing well, blessed, and highly flavored. Boy, it's been a day. It's been a day. Okay, let's get into it. Long story short, let's get into it. Now, you see the name of the title. A lot of y'all like my past video I did like maybe 3 days ago, 5 days ago. I don't know. The days are melting into each other a little bit. And I thank you for that. I really do. I appreciate all the comments and the emails. Again, here we go. If you want to book a call, this is probably your fast way to get towards me. I opened up maybe 10 more spots for, I think, the end of March and April. Though the beginning of April, because we will be on site, baby, at our projects more than one, and I'll be doing some video, some droning, and so I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna act like we're just chilling. I'm not gonna lie to you, we're gonna be busy. So book a call. That's the best way to get hold of me. And then school group, we had a really great 2 weekends in a row of training. Our next training will be next month. But if you have questions, comments, and concerns, guess what? If you're in the school group and you're messaging me, that's how you'll get to me, okay? Land grab. We're so sorry. Today was land grab training. My VAs kept messaging me, and I was like, "What do y'all want? I'm busy on the phone here with the people doing the trees, cutting the trees down and doing some septic work." And then I realized, oh shit, I was supposed to be in here training y'all. So my bad. So we're gonna move to tomorrow. It has my attention. I apologize. And please don't beat up Vivian and don't beat up Melissa in the emails. It should be posted. The updated Zoom should be posted. Just this time's going, it's changing fast. So we are trying to decide now. We have like a couple dates in the summer. We're trying to decide now. Juneteenth is coming up. We will be in Connecticut at that event. We're trying to decide, like, we're going to do probably like 4 events this summer because now things are kind of moving the way I want it, smooth. And I'm thinking something in June and something in August. Just gonna let you know. Okay, just letting you know now. Okay. Giving you a heads up, but it is what it is. So let's get into it. We're in a gilded age. The choice is to grow, sink, or stall out. It's all yours. The choice is yours. I don't have to re-edit that. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is the worst economy ever. This is not 2008, y'all. When we thought the sky was falling, we thought America defaulted. The other day, somebody's like, America defaulted. Yes, whenever the Congress doesn't vote to move up the debt, technically we do default. But we still pay all our bills. America still sells stuff. We still sell oil and gas. We still going around beating up people. We still flying out our military. We doing all those things. Please don't get it twisted. I'm going to take a copyright strike, and I'm getting ready to show y'all something on the screen. I don't care. Thank you, Ray Gunn, for supporting the channel. You're awesome. As I move into different circles, I keep trying to get people to understand that people are overhyping the poverty. Oh, we're so poor. We're so poor. We're so poor. There's a lady that's making a video and it's going viral. And the funniest part about the video is she's talking about $1 million houses. Most of you, a majority of you are not buying $1 million house in Texas, but it's very popular. Before I get into that, let me show this. I know it's early and somebody might come in later and be like, what's going on? But we're just going to show this clip, show these 2 clips. So you kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about, what a gilded age looks like, right? It's a lot of growth. It's a lot of transition. Right now, if you look over the past just 5 years, 2020, remote jobs, tech work, right? Then we're sliding to the other way of the K-shaped economy. What do you produce? People who have e-com business are making a lot of money. That's why they're quiet right now. All the e-com people that used to be like, blah, 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 they real quiet because they're making a killing right now, okay? I've been on some of those flip a business websites, and a lot of people are selling their e-com business. The e-com business is making 20, 30K a month. And people are like, that's not enough. See, they got spoiled in 2020 and 2021. That 30K is pennies to them now. They want more money. That's why I keep telling y'all will run across some of these people and their whole day is just meetings with their staff on Friday. And they got 5 websites that ship out stuff, make stuff. If you're my Digital Liberty Warriors, which I'm sorry, I've neglected y'all. I apologize. I will show you a few things like e-commerce related. I think this week coming up or this weekend, one of the two, because it's still pawing and popping. Supplements, coffee, t-shirts, hats is on and popping. So much so, please go look at Tiger Woods. I keep telling people like when the rich people are doing it, baby, it's some money. Let me go here. This is the Gilded Age. Let me show you this. This is the time where, and I'm going to say this, and people are always offended when I say this, 80% of white people came to America 1890 to 1920. The people they're talking about in this show are the new white people. They're the poor white people that came in 1890 to 1920, and America had all this ridiculous growth. You had rich black people, you had rich American Indians, you had oil and gas shooting through the roof. You know, they killing Indians in Oklahoma to get this oil. Like all kind of stuff is going on. It's a gilded age. And that's what we're in right now. And unfortunately, if you're poor or you don't have skills to participate in this economy, which a lot of people don't, it hurts. The economy hurts. You see people, they're throwing it in your face. Everybody keeps saying, well, why is the airport still full? Don't they know the TSA off? Because people got to go. People already had plans. And JSX, which I told you about that plane, they have a flight that goes from Houston to Dallas all the time for like $120. It was $400 the other day. And I said, well, shit, I'll drive. I'll drive to Dallas. I'm still that bougie. I'll just drive, right? Like I get it. We got some money, but we can just drive. If I'm going to miss this flight because Houston's overpacked, just go to a different airport. All these secondary airports all around the United States are blowing up full of people. And people are like, well, who's flying? People with money. People who already had the plan. People who already had to be there. People who have government contracts. People who have money. What are you talking about? They're going to stay full. They're going to stay booked and busy. If you're in a position in America right now where you're like, I can't afford a vacation. I can't even fly home to see my mama. I can't even drive the gas too high. The other day, I told y'all how I spilled gas on my car. I just put the card in. I ran in and I had the thing locked. And usually it just pops and stops itself. Of course, I come out and it's gas spilled. And people are like, oh my God, see if they give you a refund, baby. See if they come clean it. See if it's the machine function. And I'm just like, that's my fault. It's my responsibility. I pulled the handle. I went in the store. I came right back out. I just didn't know it was going to fill up that fast. Get over it. It's $62. I won't die. You know what I mean? But you got to see the looks on people's faces like they were going to die because of gas. If this is causing you to almost pull your hair out when you go to gas pump, you're already living too tight. You're already living on the edge. This is why when you see white people crying about the economy, some of these people are lying. They're doing it to fit in. Yeah, it's so expensive. And they're not living like that. They're not. Y'all, literally, it takes 1 year of you being a full-time employed person. You can go buy a house. That's it. I don't let the hype fool you, but let me play this clip. I know they're going to get me. I don't care. I'm going to play a clip anyway because I love it. This is my favorite show. I'm going to go to New York and meet some of the actresses. I'm trying to meet Felicia Rashad tomorrow, y'all. Cross your fingers. They told me they won't know. I couldn't get a last minute ticket. I'm like, please. I want to meet Miss Rashad. Please. I need to meet Miss Huxtable. Please. I'll dress real proper and put my nice dress on, please.
New York is a collection of villages. The old have been in charge since before the revolution, until the new people invaded.
Well, I'm new. I've only just arrived.
You are my niece, and you belong to old New York.
George Russell is a power in the land. Before long, he'll put money into his pocket with every train ticket you buy. I think we should know the Russell family.
We do not move in the same circles.
Mama, you are incorrigible.
I take that as the highest praise.
Well, how do you find your aunts?
Ada is kind, but not clever. And Agnes is clever, but not kind.
Mrs. Van Ryn and her sad sister were spying on me today.
I don't know why you bother with them.
I don't bother with them.
I'm afraid New York can be quite challenging at first.
We haven't found it so, have we, George?
There is no challenge you are not equal to, my dear.
We have invited Marion to live with us. She hasn't a penny.
I cannot live within Aunt Agnes's confines.
You must meet the right people in the right way.
Money isn't everything, Agnes.
I don't understand why they have taken me in.
I have a job and a fresh start that I need.
I want to do something with my life.
For a New Yorker,
Anything is possible.
You are the future, Mrs. Russell. And if you are the future, the name must be the past.
Well, things move faster nowadays.
I hope you're not against Miss Scott. She'll disrupt things.
Maybe we need a bit of disruption.
Let the tournament begin.
Why don't we just go outside and roll in the gutter? It will save time.
Do you know Newport well, Miss Russell?
The mistress is not a player in the great game.
That woman is unsuitable as an acquaintance. I'll make them pay one day.
How can anyone be so wretched? You bastard.
I may be a bastard, Mr. Thorburn, but you are a fool. And of the two, I think I know which I prefer.
All right. So listen, it's an amazing show. You should watch it. I could go on and on about it. We ain't gonna do that. I even told people when we were at the Houston Takeover, I said, baby, we're going to Connecticut. We're wearing the off-white. We're going to be with the old monies. Are y'all ready? Now, there's a whole clip I think I have for Martha's Vineyard in here, but I want y'all to realize when you watch this show, if you ever get a chance to watch it, it was stalling a little bit because 2020 had happened. But then all of a sudden, you know, when they saw Felicia Rashad was in it, they saw a few of their faces, black people came and went and shot that show to #1. Okay. Because black people, that's what we do. We shoot a show to #1. Let me be very clear. Let me be very, very clear. What the show doesn't say, but it's said without saying, there's some Southern people talking in some of the places. And you're like, okay, what the Southern people doing up there? The reason Rhode Island was a place for the rich is because Southern plantation owners who were so wealthy started building houses up there. They would take the train from South Carolina and Georgia and North Carolina and Virginia and go be in Rhode Island. They had so many mansions in Rhode Island that in the 1970s and 60s and 80s, they were burning down and they would just let them. They wouldn't even save them. They were like, well, what are we going to do with it? Who's going to pay the money for it? It wasn't until the New Yorkers back in the 1990s said, we've got to save some of this stuff. Save these mansions, that the mansions got saved. Now, why did they go up there that far up north to be in New York spaces? Because when the South had outbreaks of tuberculosis, yellow fever, all this stuff, the slaves would make it through. The slaves would get it and make it through. But guess who didn't make it? The white people. They would be dropping like flies. So in the hot summer months, you think that they're over top of the slaves. They're really not. Who was over top of the slaves? Poor white people who recently got to America. Irish, Scottish, you know, whatever you want to call it. And so as slavery ended, and we still had what? The cotton gin kind of time, the needing the cotton, the South was still wealthy. That's the funniest part about the whole show is like the New Yorkers were building mansions to compete with the Southerners to show off. And they would only be in Rhode Island in the summer. They would leave that place because it was frozen and cold. They'd be like, we ain't staying up there. You know, that's where the divorced wives stay. That's where the invalids stay. That's where people who couldn't handle the smell of New York because it was so stinky in the summer, full of horse shit everywhere. That's where they went. Now, why am I telling you this? What does it have to do? You're like, Erica, you're going off tangent. I'm not. This is important to the whole story. This is important to this whole video. The reason the show is so amazing because it talks about the railroad and the stock market and being old money. So people, we're in that golden age right now. Donald Trump even being in the White House is an example we're in the Gilded Age. And his family getting gangbusters rich. Okay? You got people who've been in New York since the Plymouth Rock. Didn't land on us kind of stuff, right? And again, this is why I tell black people, you are heritage Americans. You've been here 400 years the most. 80% of white people got here 1890 to 1920. The average white person, if you ask them who their grandma is, she's an Italian, she's Irish, she's German. Oh, my grandma from Germany. They love telling you that my grandma's from Germany. Okay, well, you've not been here that long. You haven't been here that long. Okay, I've been here longer than you. My family's been here longer than you. And that's why when I hear black people talk so poorly of themselves, I want to slap them. Baby, you've been here longer than these people. We've been here 300 plus years longer than these people. There's no excuses at this point. Right? Yes, racism real, but again, move around. Well, what money, Erica? Get creative. Y'all know how to find a strip club. Y'all know how to get to Atlanta. Y'all know how to get to Daytona Beach. Y'all know how to get anywhere else you want. Get creative, okay? So what's happening right now in this particular Gilded Age? I say it started in 2019, 2018. And I can look back at the data. I can look back at my paychecks. I can look back at my income. I can look back at a lot of stuff, right? And people I know's income. Okay. And that's my subculture. But I can look at national data and tell you what's going on in the country. And so with the tech run, with the semi-truck run, with the Turo car rental run, there are people who did the car rentals. They had 18 cars. Now they've got 6 cars. But it changed their family's life so fundamentally. There were 2 guys who had a car rental business. They had like 18 cars. They was going crazy. Getting their aunt signs up cars, cousins sign up cars. They bought 4 houses in Chicago. Now, I'm not trying to say Chicago's so expensive you can't buy a house there, but a Black 20-year-old buying 4 houses in Chicago. The power of business is real, but it's only real if you're willing to kind of invest in yourself, stabilize your business, and have predictable income. The reason you say, oh, all those people went away, Erica, they didn't make any money. No, they made plenty of money. They made so much money, they realized they don't got to be on the internet like that. They don't have to do Instagram, right? I was talking with this guy and we were consulting. He was like, oh, why don't you run your Instagram up like you did before? And I said, do you know how much work I did for that? I'm not doing that again. I can pay somebody on staff to do that, but I don't have to do that again. Where I'm going, I need just enough digital footprint or proof to sign this contract for this subdivision. That's it. And this commercial apartment. That's it. I just needed to hit 10 years. And I hit that in 2023. Just so you know. I already hit that number. I already hit the 10-year mark. I'm like data-wise and a track record, I already hit it. This is for the love at this point. That's why I be trying to tell people, like, once you do something in a certain track record, and you can pull up years and years of bank statements, years and years of tax returns, bankers and money people are different to you. They just are. They just are. I had a young man, he's upset. His dad filed for bankruptcy, I think in 2012. Long time ago. And they went to go get an SBA loan, and they wouldn't do the loan with his daddy. This is why I tell Black people, do not follow what everybody else is doing. These are white people that's talking about that story. And I said, well, you sure you ain't called around? Maybe it's another person. We talked to 3 other SBA loan officers. They're like, yeah, they ain't gonna give him that loan. Not with that bankruptcy, because he's done it before. This is why I tell Black people, oh, I'm gonna file bankruptcy. You are not Pinky Cole. You are not Slutty Vegan. You are not these rich people. You don't have millions of assets sitting somewhere so they can go, well, you know, she was just over leveraged. Let her bankrupt. When the game is go get an SBA loan to cover 90% of you buying a business, and you just bring the 10%, however you bring it, with multiple people, 3, 4 people, however, and your daddy now can't even help you get this SBA loan for this business, and he a white man in America making good money because he had a bankruptcy from all these years ago, and you're like, well, after 7 years, it doesn't matter, but it does. But it does. I talked to too many of y'all on the phone. You're like, Erica, I had a car with Navy Federal, but I let it go bad. Baby, you better go back and pay Navy Federal. You better go back and pay them. You better go back and figure it out, or go find 10 other credit unions. And guess what them other credit unions gonna say? Oh, you didn't pay Navy Federal? Well, what am I gonna do with you? Y'all don't know how this game plays, okay? So again, you're in another Gilded Age. New York and LA is a wrap, right? They're stable, they're consistent. It's hard to break in. We can go through a whole conversation on that. Now it's the Southeast again, you know, and they're like, the South will rise again, right? If all these people dying in the Southeast, you see all these data centers trying to buy land and farmland off these people. You see kind of return of white people being like, well, actually, I can go get $1 million at 1% interest. Let's go get this farm, and we're going to figure it out, because the government going to keep giving us a chance to figure it out. But if I tell the average Black person, hey, man, you should come, hey, listen, there's a blueberry farm over here. We can get it. And, you know, you can put you a little house off to the side. We can do A, B, and C. They be like, a farm? That's 30 minutes outside of Atlanta. You'd be like, yeah. It's over there. You know, I think it's Cobb or something like that. Do you know how far that is? I'm not living over there. I'd be like, oh, okay. Y'all, I'm telling you, I've been on phone with some people, and we'll talk about something that's 30 minutes, because I don't know Atlanta that way. Y'all can get on me. But it was like to the left of Atlanta. And this man owns 132 acres. And he was like, yeah, I'll sell y'all 5 acres. And because I'm by the data center, I'm by this something else in Cobb and something else over there, right? He's by some, is it Cobb or Carson? I may be saying it wrong, but it's way to the left of Atlanta. And I was like, you'll sell us 5 acres? I said, oh, let me find something we can do. And the person I talked to was like, I live by Kennesaw. I'm not going all the way over there. And I was just busting a gut laughing, going, all right, like, what can I can't convince you. You looking for a farm. You live in Kennesaw. Do you think you're not going to have to leave Atlanta? Okay, cool. You know, whatever. Right. So long and the story short, the puck has moved. right? The edge is moved. And just so I can get hit with the other, I know they're gonna hit me with a strike on this video. I don't care. I'm gonna play this part because I like it. I like the theme song. It makes me happy. And I'm gonna play it for y'all. And then we're gonna go into the next part. If you guys can hear me and see me and it's good in here, put a 1 in the comments. Let me know if I can hear me good. I know HBO gonna tear me up. I hope you looked at some of what you saw on the screen. What did you see? You saw the stock market, you saw farmland, you saw trains. If you didn't get it, it's okay. I just had to show it to y'all so y'all could get it. If you didn't get it, that's okay. I'm just letting you know what's happening in front of you. If you didn't get it, that's okay. But it is exactly what we're going through now. You can go, hey, we're going, this is kind of what's happening right now. We had people starting business. They're like shocked. Oh my God, I can start a business. 2019, 2018. Oh my God, I can do government contracts. They're shocked, right? They're getting money. Then the tech shows up. Oh, you can get this steady tech money. Okay, then you had what? We're back to the old school. Buying people's businesses. It's the oldest, it's time of day and blue collar, right? You don't have to be the person doing the blue collar. You just own a business. There will always be people at the bottom of the K-shaped recovery. And I'm telling you now, I would give drivers a safety bonus after 90 days of $1,000. And them men would be like so happy. They'd be like, thank you, Erica. I really needed that extra 1,000. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, well, damn, shit. Like you making $100K a year. Like what more do you need? CDL driver? Shit. But when people don't have a plan, they just spending the money. Okay, so I hope y'all are paying attention because they're on the K-shaped bottom part of the economy. So now we back to what? Land. All these data centers running around trying to buy land. I keep showing y'all stuff about farming. Y'all act like it don't matter. I'm telling you, the farming is like liquid gold money. There was a guy, he was just early. He was saying, you're going to see farmers driving Lamborghinis. We already have that going on. I just keep telling y'all he was early saying it, but he's telling the truth because like right now, they're crying about fertilizer. The fertilizer problem is not an American problem. It's not a Canadian problem. It's not a Brazil problem. It's not an Argentina problem. It's not a Chile. It's not Guatemala. It's not Belize. It's not Panama. None of these countries have a problem. Who has a problem with fertilizer? Europe and Africa. They need that Strait of Hormuz open or they're going to be crying. They're going to be begging. So who is going to make money this year coming up? Who? America. See, everybody's trying to convince you. Oh, no. I'm telling y'all. I'm giving you the heads up. There are people who want to sell their beach house. They want to sell it after the summer. I said, no, sell it to me before the summer. If you ain't selling me the beach house before summer, what I want it for. Because that's when they're going to make the most money. So the person trying to be greedy, sell the house after summertime where it's making all the money and get a lump sum going out the door. People ain't paying attention. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to show this, and it's no disrespect. I'm just saying people don't know what they're talking about. And I actually used to do road trips to our cousins' colleges in Tennessee. I won't tell him his business, but he played football. Like I told you, I have all these boy cousins. They play a lot of football. Tennessee. We had an Arkansas player. We had a person in my family played for Oklahoma. Our family used to road trip, baby. They used to drive. That's why I laugh when my family be like, we got to drive. Let's fly now. Right? They love saying, let's fly. Can we fly? I'm tired of driving. We did all them years of driving in Sprinter vans and cargo vans. And like we did it, baby. Like if you look back at my family photos, like I've been showing my significant other, my in-laws, like the photos, they'd be like, God, y'all was traveling. I'm like, we was traveling. We were doing it in style, baby. We were going all over the place. But I didn't know we were living in the Gilded Age then too. We just didn't realize it. But anyway, let's go. Let's play this. I just want to play a little bit of this. And I'm not arguing with Antoine or anything like that. I'm just telling you as a person who actually knows data, and I've been talking about this for years, and I've shown y'all 2016 Boomtown list. By the time something's on the Boomtown list, it's been booming for 10 years. Nashville was on that list when I did that video with y'all long ago, and I keep showing it to y'all. So anyway, let's get it. Let me play it.
From the last 15 minutes of scrolling on TikTok, Nashville is ruined. Over the last 2 years, they let Dr. Dre come in, they let Snoop Dogg come in. Now Barstool Sports is turning like their club more into like a Vegas nightclub. And then I just saw the Sky Deck that they had Steve Aoki. People are like, the young kids are gonna be like, this is so awesome. We go to Nashville, we get all this. What they don't realize is that, yes, this seems cool at first, right? Pay attention to what Vegas is right now. Vegas is like a dead zone. People are gonna be like, oh no, Vegas is still alive and popping. No, it's not. The fact that
Okay, let me keep going.
Steve Aoki is coming to Nashville to play shows you that Vegas is not alive and popping. It also shows you that whoever owns Nashville, the people who have nothing to do with the country music scene, like the actual artists and stuff like that, they're now taking their money from Vegas and they're now putting it into Nashville. And what's going to happen is the people who don't know how this all works, for the first year, maybe 4 years, 5 years, it's going to look amazing. All these nice venues and clubs are going to pop up, all these nice restaurants. There's going to be a bunch of gigs going on, like all these cool events. 7 or 8 years from now, people are going to start talking about Nashville because they already are now. Like the people who actually understand it, the people are going to start talking about how Nashville is ruined and how it became a tourist trap and how you can't afford drinks, which you can't already afford, and how you can't afford the clothes and everything else. And then downtown, they're going to start revamping all those buildings. So those buildings have been there since like the 50s and earlier, right? The ones that are very nostalgic. Those are all going to look like the buildings in Vegas or the buildings in Miami. They're going to revamp everything. They're going to completely ruin the culture of it. And I have no faith in it ever going backwards because what we've learned from like how the country runs itself or just how money runs itself, money rules everything. So the people who own all the money, they control everything. It's very corrupt. So yes, they're going to come in here and the big billionaires who own everything are going to keep buying everything up. And then eventually Nashville is not going to be recognizable Nashville. Eventually we're going to buy postcards with what Nashville looked like today or a year or two ago.
I have news for him. Nashville already has been experiencing a transformation for the better part of over 10 years, maybe even 15 years. I remember the first time that I visited Nashville, it might have been like 2012, 13, maybe even 14 at the latest. But first time I visited Nashville was there for a work conference.
Let me just laugh because he said he'd been there since 2014. Let me just tell you this. I used to go to Nashville in 2005. We had a girlfriend moved there. I was going to flip a coin. And it wasn't just her. It was like 10 people from my graduating class, okay? 10 people from my graduating class at ECU. East Carolina University went to Nashville. A bunch of them went to like Dallas, and they were like, you know, when I had my coffee shop here, and I closed my coffee shop, and I didn't get married to a particular gentleman. Okay, I flipped a coin, and I said I'm either going to go to Nashville or I'm going to go to Austin, Texas. Now this, of course, was 2012, but I was going back and forth to Nashville since 2005, y'all. Since 2005, like this is why this is comical. Like people who actually know what they're talking about, y'all don't listen to. And I'm okay with that. I realized that time I'm so grateful for my time here on social media. I am so grateful. But what I laugh about is just the data. I know the data and I know the suburbs, Franklin. And like I just got offered to build somebody a $2 million house out in the suburbs. And it's 30 minutes, it's less than 30 minutes from Nashville. It's just the traffic when it's bad, it's 30 minutes. And I laugh so bad because I'm like, if you're not in the position to make money off Tennessee, yeah, the shit sucks. Even the guy in the video came in 2019. Now, Antoine gonna say Las Vegas ain't dead, but I'm gonna tell you, baby, it's dead. Las Vegas had 1.6 million less Canadians and foreigners this summer, and they act like they were about to fall apart. They have whole casinos that are dead as hell, y'all. Dead as hell. I don't even know how they're paying the investors back. I don't even know how the stock market's making money off it. And people will sit here and go, no, Vegas is still popping. It's not. Are they still building houses? For sure. For sure. They have Las Vegas is the equivalent of a retirement town. Their demographics are a lot of old people and then a bunch of Hawaiians who can no longer afford Hawaii and Samoans who can no longer afford Samoa like they want to live, or this it's getting a little inbred out there, just to be honest. If you want to go there, we're going to go there. They're coming to Las Vegas to work. Right? Like literally in Las Vegas, you had Uber drivers last summer making $5K a week. They made $3K a week this year and they act like they dying. What kind of drug gambling problem do you have that $3K a week driving your car around the city, which is 12 grand a month if you ain't doing the math, is not enough for you and your family? Baby, you're driving a car. You're driving a car or you're driving an SUV. Now, when gas is high this summer, oh, they're going to be crying. If they're crying from making $5,000 a week in Vegas to making $3,000 a week in Vegas, driving cars, what do you think they're going to do this summer when they got to drive them SUVs around Vegas? Oh, hell, they're going to cry. There is an old man in Austin, Texas, who used to drive around football players, and he drove us to the games. He would make $2,000 a week in Austin driving. And he was too old to be driving, y'all. Let me be honest. He was like 71. I think I was like feeling real sorry. I was like, he need to move. He need to go on further outside of Austin and just sit down somewhere. But he was saying his wife died. It kept him some company, right? And if he's making $2,000 a week in Austin, people in Las Vegas making $3,000 to $4,000 a week. You're like, damn, Austin must be very busy. Yes, it is. That population that's like, even in Austin's not that big. So people are like, hey, party. And they went to Nashville. You'll meet it all the time. It's the same pipeline. They go to Austin. Oh, I don't like Austin, so I'm gonna move to Dallas. Or they move from Austin to Nashville. If they don't move, then from Nashville to New York. Or they go Austin to New York. I've seen this a million times. Vegas been hella dead. Only people don't know that is people not paying attention. People want to trick off in Vegas and all that goose. Yeah. Okay, well, that may seem lively to you, but it's not. It's not. Let me I was gonna let more of that play, but I'm good. I'm good on that. I don't need more of that to play. Essentially, he's just like, Las Vegas ain't dead. It is, baby. It's hella dead for people who make money there. You dig what I'm saying? Who make money there? Okay. Can y'all hear? I don't think the audio on. Hold on. Shit, sorry. This is funny just because I know what she's trying to say. And I've been in jobs where they acting like, oh my God, oh, I'm dying. And you're like, how Miss Karen, you make $80K a year? Like, I'm a billings manager making 70. You're the property manager making $98,000 a year. If you ain't good, well, how the hell am I good? Here we go.
Comes on here, it says nobody can afford a house, nobody can afford this, nobody can afford that. But that's absolutely not true. All my white coworkers who are like either a year older than me or around my age, they all own property. I don't know why they're lying to you. They're literally lying to all of y'all. And I'm here to tell the minorities, because I also own a home, they're lying. They own property. They just want you guys to think that you can't afford it. Like, they're coming on here and saying that so they have less competition to buy property. They're finessing y'all, okay? It's such a crazy type of fear mongering, but it really is. My house just went up in value in the 365 days I've been here. Hi, I work in finance, and I'm the only Black person in the finance department, period. And let me tell you something. They can afford them houses. I don't know why everybody, like, there's a subset of white American that comes on here and says, nobody can afford a house, nobody can afford this, nobody can afford that. But that's absolutely not true. All my white coworkers who are like either a year older than me or around my age, they all own property. I don't know why they're lying to you. They're literally lying to all of y'all. And I'm here to tell the minorities, because I also own a home, they're lying. They own property. They just want you guys to think that you can't afford it. Like, they're coming on here and saying that so they have less competition to buy property. They're finessing y'all, okay? It's such a...
I keep telling y'all it's a finesse. Now, I read what your comment is, and I'm going to address this comment. All big markets are in a slump. What's a slump? Home applications are up 78% this month. This is why I tell y'all, don't let these people gas y'all up, because people move in the spring, in the summer. So, of course, in November, December, January, there's no, well, where's the houses? People buying houses. Home applications for mortgages are up 78%. Refinances are up 127%. Now, some people are like, refinance? Now, the refinance category, they could be either in a HELOC or they could be in another category of like a person taking some equity out their home. Doesn't have to be a complete refinance out of the current interest rate they're in. I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole with y'all. We're not going to do that on that one. But that's not true. It's like, oh, they're all in a slump. I can actually show you that. I keep showing y'all that one website, therealdeal.com, the real data. Go check it out on Instagram. I mean, I literally get a book from them every month of the data of certain communities and triplexes, all the major ones, how many house permits came out for building houses 2023, 2024, 2025. I can tell you which ones are up and which ones is down. I can literally pull out the book now and show y'all. And this is why data is so important, because if you allow somebody to tell you something without any backup, right? You allow people to say everybody's a 304, all these people are single parents, all black men are in jail. When the data is less than 700,000 black men are in jail, less than 0.5 of black men are criminals at all, like in comparison to the 50 million black Americans we have. Even if you say compared to 22, 23 million black men, 700,000 black men in jail. Yes. Is that bad? Yes. But in comparison to 23 million, it's a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket. And this is why y'all have to know data enough to have conversation with people. The average person y'all arguing with online got a 7th grade education. No, Erica, they graduate high school. No, baby, but they can read at a 7th grade level. So my grandma didn't finish school past a certain grade, and she had an 8th grade education, and she ran businesses in a farm. Like, this is what I want you to say. The level of education our grandparents got versus what you're getting is atrocious. I remember being in my AP classes and we just read books. And he was like, all right, write a report for how many books you read, right? And sometimes we joke and be like, we're only going to read 1 book a week. He's like, well, if you only read 1 book a week, then I'm going to start teaching and making y'all write reports every day because y'all are smarter than the average kids out of school. And you can see in a class, it'd be like 40 kids, full of kids. And it'd be like 10 or 12 of us in the class. And we just be in there reading. And people be like, oh, I mean, your class must be really boring. Y'all just read all day. I'm like, no, we actually talk and goof off. And then we read. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would be like, oh my gosh. And I was like, it was important to read because he was like, y'all are in here so y'all don't have to sit over there with them. And I mean that, like, literally you had some kids over there struggling to understand Mr. Bean, and he was doing English at like a baby level. I'm talking about baby level in high school. Okay. So all the big markets are not in a slump, but it seems like that. So like, the dude with Venture Consulting, his best thing is like, oh yeah, everything's crashing. He just bought a home. He's like, yeah, it's 100,000 less than what it was in 2020. He don't tell you the price because he know y'all gonna be offended. He know y'all gonna be hella offended if he tells y'all that all this doom and gloom shit he done sold y'all, and he just bought a 1.5 million house in Atlanta. He just bought a $1 to $2 million house in Atlanta, but he telling you it's 100K off. You know how somebody can take 100K off a house in Atlanta? It's already a $2 million house. It's already a $1.5 to $1.7 million house. Now he can do all he wants. He can run around, try to put in LLCs and do different stuff, but eventually they're gonna have the data where his house is. Give one of these internet crazies a minute. They're gonna find his house. I'm telling you, like I tell you, you find it if you want to, you can get pew-pewed, okay? Seems like Vegas will be a hub for sports and entertainment. Prices will stabilize soon once infrastructure is in place. I think Vegas is a little too expensive if you don't have the foreigners. Just like as people I know that live there and work there, like when I go see my friends, I'm like, so blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, we don't go over there. We go to off the strip, or they send us different places to go. And it's pretty cool. But I just think that's always interesting, right? I'm a black man, not in jail, never been. Man, you know what I mean? Black people I meet, 1 in 3 black men have been in the military. They never bring that stat up, but they love telling you about black men in jail. And again, once this set of baby boomers dies off, you know, the numbers are going to be way more skewed, and they're going to be like, oh, see, all these black people don't even serve the military. But we all know some black people that serve the military. Knock it off. The gas did go up $1 per gallon here in Ohio. Not the most expensive, but as someone using Uber as income while I study and build my business, it does cut my income. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me put this clip up. This is about the Texas and the taxes. This only matters to you if you're buying $1 million house. And she never clarified that. That's
somebody's got to pay for the schools and the hospitals. And you know how we do that? Property taxes. I think people often look at online real estate websites and they see a tax estimate on there. Those are wrong almost 100% of the time. Before you write a purchase offer on a home, you need to have a real understanding of what your property taxes are going to be. So here's a quick example. In the city of Dallas, DISD on a $1 million home, you are looking at about $22,000 a year assessed annually for your property taxes. This is something you need to consider before you move here. People love to talk about the fact that Texas doesn't have a state income tax, and that's great, but somebody's got to pay for the schools and the hospitals. And you know how we do that? Property taxes. I think people often look at online real estate websites and they see a tax.
Now she's talking about $22,000. Now, immediately people are like, see, this is why I would never move to Texas. Oh my God, the property taxes. I'm like, she's talking about $1 million homes. There was only $14,400 million homes sold last year, which is actually a record for Texas. She's not talking to you. She's not talking to you. Let me be very clear. She's not. You're going to pay for your $300,000 house in Texas, maybe $5,000, $3,000 to $5,000, if that. And then if you put your homestead exemption, you'll actually pay less and it'll lower it. And there's even a partnership I did here, a sponsorship that we're doing commercial TV ads right now for, and you'll eventually see it, I guess. But essentially, when we're talking to people about reducing their taxes, you're talking about a school teacher and a cop, which again, 2 cops in Houston, Texas, they went viral because they're sheriffs or their deputies. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. And they make, between the 2 of them, they make over $19,000 a month as husband and wife. That's why when y'all be talking, I'll be like, who don't make no money? You have to be married to Larry the Bum to have no money. You got it. Something's off. And again, I posted a thing on the community wall today, and it's funny, but it's true. It was like Eric, the hip hop timer preacher, was like, it don't take that long to fix your credit. It don't take that long to buy a house. It don't take that long to make right with your children and your family. A lot of the problems we're dealing with in society right now, they're personal. There, you need some help. You need some, you need some therapy, something. I don't know what you need, but you need something. You know what I'm saying? So we can go however y'all want to say it in a nice way, but 9 times out of 10, it's got nothing to do with the economy. It's got to do with you. That's why I say when you start a business and you talk to most people, the most thing struggling about their business is it's a personal development thing. Like, why are you doing this business? You know what I'm saying? When you meet guys, sometimes they want to take over the world. Like there's one guy, he's really cool, Dylan. And he made this business. He made all this money. I'm talking about $20 million. And then he was like, I don't even really want to do this. I done dug so deep into this. I realized I didn't even want to do this. I just wanted the money because he's 5'4". It just is what it is. He's a wrestler, former wrestler, but he was saying it was because he's a shorter man. And he thought, hey, I'm going to do this. He's like, but I'm actually really good at talking to people and giving speeches and helping people speak. Like I could just do that. I don't have to chase real estate this hard. And I kind of laugh because at least he's honest enough to say, why am I doing this? I don't even have to do this. And you'll come there. You'll come to that conclusion at some point when you have a business that like, why are you doing that? Are you sure you want to do that? Is that why you're doing that? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, long as you're happy doing it, right? It's cool. Let me show you this. Now, this is Derek and Dakota. I've talked to y'all about them several times. The reason I keep bringing them up is they're doing digital real estate exactly like I talked about a couple years ago. They've bought like 7 Instagram pages. Even that black dude that came on talking about buying Instagram pages, I don't think y'all really listened to him. Like y'all gave him some shine, but y'all didn't really listen to him. The black guy, what's his name that was talking about buying Instagram pages, y'all? Y'all remember his name? Sorry, I bumped my toe and it hurt. Bumped my toe and it hurt. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Put a 1 in the comments. Can y'all hear me and see me? I'm gonna make sure y'all can hear me and see me. Make sure we are still alive here. So anyway, it shows since 2020, your groceries cost 26% more. Again, you know what happened. Your housing costs 53% more. Your dollar buys 22% less, but the stock market has doubled. Let's break down the good, the bad, and the ugly in the economy. Okay. The good news is we're not in a recession yet, but everyday Americans are struggling. Now, y'all know who feels like they're in a recession. Hold on a second. Hello. Say what? Oh, y'all ate it already? I'll be there in about 10 more minutes. I got the sauce in the car. Okay. Everybody. All right. So anyway, price increases. Eating out, 24%. Rent, 26%. Childcare, electricity, car, home, airfare, home prices, used cars, utilities, dozen eggs. This is not sustainable. Again, what's the number 2 things I tell people? If you're in insurance, okay, if you're in insurance and you also are in childcare, you should be doing well right now. No, Eric, I'm doing bad. Okay, we can talk about it. Here's the issue. The upper class wages are up 4%, middle class wages up 2%, lower class wages up 1%, and inflation's up 3%. Even 100K earners are treading water. Economists call this K-shaped economy if you own stocks, real estate, investments. Ownership makes you wealthy. If only you earn a paycheck, inflation eats you alive. Now, again, listen, I remember being at Lowe's and back in the day. This is so long ago. It actually is funny how long ago that was. I was at Home Depot and Lowe's. I was at Lowe's, but then I did do a little stunt at Home Depot. And they were like, yo, we're gonna match you 6%. Like, we'll match y'all 6%. And they could never get anybody to sign up nationwide. They could not get people to sign up to Lowe's 6%. You had people walking around talking big shit. They were millionaires on paper from Lowe's stock. And so finally Lowe's would say, hey, listen, we're going to do a mandatory 3%. Right? We're going to pull it out your check basically and match it. And the uproar in the stores, even in the store I was in, I'm talking about them people wanted to like, they took money out my check. And you'd be like, oh my God, how much money did they take? Sometimes it'd be like $40, $60. But people were literally about to burn that place down. And Lowe's was like, but we're matching you. We're matching you. And eventually I think Lowe's took it to like 2.5% or something like that. But I'm telling you, them people was about to flip the building upside down because they were matching them 3% and were making it mandatory. Because they had did all these years of training, explaining to people how important investing in the stock was. Like, you don't get no pension. So how are you going to retire? Like, Lowe's kept trying to say, hey, we really want to take care of y'all who've been with us all these years. Same thing with Home Depot. Now, Home Depot, I mean, again, they were making people do, I think, 2% flat. And you guys would think people would have lost their mind. They were upset about $40. Now, you're going to say, well, Erica, don't talk bad about people $40, $60. That's their money. Let them decide. But that's just it. They're telling you what financially makes sense, and people didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to do it. No, I can't think. I don't want to do that. Now, the Dakota and the Derek right here, digital real estate, yeah, they took that out of school. They can have it. Some other people have been using it too, but now they're changing the digital landlords. Everybody's going to do different stuff. But they bought 7 or 8 Instagram pages. And I keep telling people, what is an asset? You choose one platform and go crazy. There are people that come on YouTube that have huge Instagram pages. They cannot get anybody to watch their videos. I don't know why. It just doesn't transfer. It doesn't transfer over. All right. People that like Instagram. I don't know how to tell you, explain to you. But the reason this is a problem is because if people cannot understand your job, like almost forcing you to match. And I remember a lot of tech people was upset because I had a couple friends that worked in tech in Austin who were like, yeah, this startup I'm at is making me match them. And you'd be like, okay, bro, like that's the only way you're going to get profit sharing is if you match them. And so long story short, what ends up happening is you're telling people this is the future and this is how it goes. And if you don't have stocks, if you don't own assets, if you don't have real estate, you're going to be broke. And they didn't want to hear it. So I don't feel bad when I'm preaching to the choir because I realize majority of people won't even listen. Shit, Lowe's can't even force their staff to listen. They're paying them every 2 weeks. So how can you compete with Lowe's that's nationwide? And they turn that music off there. Long story short, this is a lady saying my ideal 50-50 relationship is I start an online business, retire you, and buy us a farm. Okay. And you literally do all the work, right? While she gets to keep making content and do all stuff. Now you're going to say, Erica, why would people fall for this? Who would do this? A lot of white people. There's like 4 or 5 white women I can pull up their pages right now who, yeah, my husband retired off of some beauty products I sold, off of some hair products I sold, because they ain't making that money like that, y'all. Even the one girl who made $5 million, her husband was working in construction. And she was like, I'm out of money. He worked 6 days a week and they were out of money. And they had to leave from New York to live in basically like the bottom of Charlotte, and they moved to South Carolina. And so they end up buying like this $2 million house. They end up living real beautiful. And it's off of her retiring him. And now anything he does is just a capital investment. And that's what it is. It really is. You get to a point where your husband or wife, if they want to work, that's on them, right? But really, you're just moving capital around. right? I used to think there was a guy on My First Million. He had over, I think if I'm not mistaken, 18 businesses, and people were like, there's no way he has 18 businesses. But literally half of his businesses were online. They were little e-com shops, little stuff. And he would just put one or two girls over it, and they would just run the ads, the social media, and he just had to follow up with them. How the order's going, how's things doing? Okay, cool. And he got to a point where he had managers that the people at the companies reported to, and then those managers report to him. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand, like, that game has changed. Okay, so you can go check her out. Her name is Sarah, but you can go. There's like 15 of these people I can show you pages. Okay. Let me show you a couple more and I'm gonna get on out of here. There's some stuff I have saved for another video. I pre-recorded some content in here. You know, people love saying America's greedy and America's bad. This is China. Now they have 500 ships going around Peru. Why? Because Peru can't do nothing. Peru ain't bowdy. Peru ain't got no money like that. And so these 500 ships are right outside the UN lines, right? This is the same thing with Louisiana. Why does all the oil companies don't have to pay Louisiana citizens a bunch of money for digging up all that oil off the shores of Louisiana? Because they're right outside that blue line, that 5-mile blue line. They're right outside of it. And so this is what China's doing. China loves squid. They love calamari. So they put 500 ships out here along the coast of Peru, because Peru ain't got no military like that. Okay. Now, guess what's happened? When Peru has, certain times of the year, they go shop, they go get squid. The squid is down 70%. Why? Because China done ate it all. They done farmed it all. Like, China tried to do this to America and with the whales, and America's like, we'll blow y'all shit up. Don't play with us. So then they were like, okay, America ain't playing. Let's get from over there. But they still go do this to other countries. This is the same thing China's doing to Africa. Everybody in the world wants to say America is a bully and we take people's resources and we're insolvent and we're doing. Y'all, listen. Do you want America that lets you kind of have some freedom, or you want China that's about to bust you over your head? And people are like, no, Erica, don't talk about China. China's so advanced. China is sterilizing the Muslim Chinese people in their own country. Israel does it too, but I'm like, China sterilizes the Muslim people in their country, and children under 18 can't even go inside the mosque because they believe that they're poisoning the children with the information. Now, listen, you can think what you want about Islam as a religion, and I've made it very clear what I think about them. But do you want China? Or you want America saying, hey, man, cut it out? And this is, again, greedy. Beyond level greedy. Now, again, I want to show this. This is important for me trying to say. The point of income is you don't want it tied to the algorithm. You don't want to chase the algorithm. A lot of people do. You don't want that. And what happens is you want predictable income. Predictable income, high risk, high reward. We talk about that. But you want predictable income. So I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Digital Liberty Warriors. If you code up today and you post 3 times on Instagram a day for the next year, will you have 100,000 subscribers? Yes, you will. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's the truth. Do you want to post 3 times a day for 365 days? Not really. I mean, it depends on where you're at financially, where you're at hungry. What are you gonna do once you get all these subscribers? What are they gonna be on your email list? Are they gonna make any money off these people? You're really gonna make money off the 4%, right? So I'm gonna just tell you this: when you get out here, and you really only need one platform, but when you get out here, $50,000 to $150,000 a year. Baby, you can make that. You can work and you can get that. Okay. That 250,000, 750,000, that's business level. That's high sales, but that's also mostly business level. Dentists, doctors, plumbers, electricians, they can start a business and have a van and make that. When you get to that 250,000 to $1 million, which is really over 750,000 to that $1 million. Okay. That is a level that puts you, you're over most 1%ers of America. But what happens is you get up there and you realize it's not just my personal experience, just a lot of people. You will never get with the old money. You know what I mean? I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to Yale. I didn't go into the Duke. There were years I was in politics, and when I worked, I could not get access to certain areas and certain jobs. I knew what it was. But there's a second level. We call it the counter elite. It's like the alternative. What were all the tech startups? They were like guys saying F you to the traditional way, to the establishment, to the established culture. What is Donald Trump right now? Donald Trump and all those people in his office are all white people who did not go to the Ivy League colleges. They had an alternative way. They got into politics. Their family had a farm. Their daddy had some money. You know, Marjorie Green daddy had a plumbing / construction business, and she got some government contracts when they put her on as 51%. They're that counter elite. They're over here off to the side. Okay. Now, when you make this money, can you be over here off to the side? Yes, you can. Can you go in some of these spaces and be, oh, you gonna talk to me? No, you can't. And I'm gonna show y'all Martha's Vineyard in a second. But I want to show you, this is the power of being focused and disciplined. Now, I think I'm gonna show this in another video I pre-recorded in the office maybe a couple days ago. I'm not certain, but this is when people say, "Oh, in the army, and oh my God, my uncle's a drunk, an alcoholic, he abused people, he got PTSD." This boy been in the army 6 years, he's got 3 houses. Every time y'all keep trying to play the victim, oh, the army made me do bad things. It did not. It just revealed who you were. If you went in the army with no plan, undisciplined, wanting to do drugs, you're gonna do drugs and be undisciplined when you get out. You're gonna do it while you're in the army. They're gonna put you out. But if you actually have a plan, these are young people getting married, because y'all keep acting like the young people gonna suffer. No, they're not. They're gonna get married. Every old ass nigga in this manosphere telling you the shit is a 50-year-old bitter motherfucker. People are getting married. 3 million people a year get married. And it's not all white people. You just don't know good black people. Let's just go there. You don't know any healthy, normal black people getting married. Let's go there. You don't know them. Why? That speaks more about you than others. Let's play that here. Here we go. You will hear the most crazy, crack-headed stories out of army people ever. Yeah, I'm on drugs and I got a Hellcat because the army. What? The fuck is you talking about? The army ain't made you get on crack and get a Hellcat. Y'all gotta cut it out. You gotta cut it out. And I mean it. You gotta stop it. Cut it out. The army ain't never made you get on crack or buy a Hellcat. It didn't do that to you. Oh no. No sound? Did y'all hear what I said? Did y'all hear anything of what I said? The army didn't make you get on crack or buy a Hellcat. Can you hear me now? 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 Oh no. Can you hear me now? Oh no. Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me now? Put a 1 on. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Can you hear me now? The army didn't make you get no Hellcat or do crack. Can you hear me now? All right, let me show the video one more time. The words was on the screen, but I know how people are. They ain't reading that. I mean, but that's what people will try to convince you. The army made them do crack and get a Hellcat. You know what I'm saying? It's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. Let me try one more time.
So I've been in the Army for 6 years, and today we're closing on our 3rd house. Let's talk about how the military has helped me get ahead utilizing real estate. In 2019, we bought our first home in Texas and got it for a great price and rate due to COVID-19. Now, while a lot of people decided to sell, I decided to keep it and rent it out. And now that property is earning me almost $100,000 in equity and is rented out consistently by tenants who are paying down my mortgage monthly. In 2023, we moved again, but this time to Louisiana and purchased our 2nd home. After living there for 2 years, the plan was to sell originally, but we decided to rent that one out as well. Now we just closed on our 3rd property here in South Carolina. By utilizing rental income from the first 2 properties on this 3rd one, we now have more flexibility and a cheaper mortgage because those other properties are helping cover the cost of this one. That's the power of passive income, letting your assets work for you while you keep on building.
Okay, if you can't hear the video, I'm gonna tell you what it said. Let me make it very serious. Let me make it clear. 3 years. They've been in the Army 6 years. He got married, 2019. That's right. Marry. Black men do marry. Right. 2019, they bought a house in Texas. I'm telling you, they probably bought that house in 2019 for $175,000 because I know the exact area they're talking about. Then they got sent to Louisiana. That house probably is $199,000 to $200,000 at most. Bought it in 2023. Now they got stationed in South Carolina. They just bought a house in 2026. The income off the other two houses, rental income got included in their income. And the house in Texas has appreciated $100,000. Okay. Oh, y'all heard it this time? Cool, great. But like I said, most people are going to tell you these sob stories from the military instead of telling you I was 19 and I made bad decisions. I was 20 and I made bad decisions. My mom always tells a story when she was in Germany, the kids was just drinking and becoming alcoholics. Nobody forced them to be alcoholics in Germany. That's what they wanted to do. They would have did it in Mississippi. They would have did it in Alabama. They'd have did that shit wherever they was at already. But you'll let black people convince you that because the military made me. The military didn't make you do that. The military didn't make you do that. You got to cut it out. It must be stopped. Now, again, y'all know New York is passing the billionaire tax. So did Massachusetts. Here we go.
Lost 41,000 residents. And with them, they took $4.2 billion in adjusted gross income. The amount of income lost was an 8% increase year over year.
How much money did they take with them?
So we're talking about 2023 because that's when this tax took effect. And in that same year, the state lost 41,000 residents. And with them, they took $4.2 billion in adjusted gross income. The amount of income lost was an 8% increase year over year.
How much money?
So $4 billion left. What do you think's going to happen to New York, y'all? They leaving. New York is going to leave. And all they're doing is leaving on paper. They're not really leaving these cities or these states. They turn these properties into rental properties. They turn them in all kind of whatever they got to do documentation wise and play around with the paperwork. They don't really ever leave. They just play around with the paperwork and make it seem like they left. But $4 billion is going out the door. It's gone out the door. Y'all not going to tax the rich. Get it through your damn head. That is, they are willing to buy accounting offices and firms and pay people and figure out how much. Now, y'all say, well, Texas is regular and tough, Erica, and yet Texas is cheating. But I'm going to show y'all Texas, too. I told y'all that they making way for them Indians to be in Texas, and y'all don't think y'all believe me. But I keep telling y'all they're making way for a lot of them Indians to be out here. Now, also, what did I tell you about Income Parent? Income Parent is also bought by those boys, Dakota and Derek bought this page, too. And if you go on this page long enough, you'll see them too all over it. Okay. They bought this page too, Income Parent. Again, buying Instagram pages still works. It just ain't going to be 2020 on this mug. This is what's important. Wherever position you in, make it matter. Now, here's this one. Again, I'm showing this.
So while they were walking past the executive assistant, I'd be like, hey, girl, you look good in that outfit. Can I get you some coffee? Yeah. And it was the executive assistants who made the difference for me. It was the cleaning ladies in the room who made the difference for me. I will never forget one time I was up for a big promotion and I didn't know if I was going to get it. And I was worried and I felt like I needed to go in there and say something. I had already said my piece, but I felt like I needed to say something else. And she happened to come in around 6:30 that day. And I was looking some kind of way. She said, girl, what's wrong with you today? And I said, I don't know if I'm going to get promoted. And I think I need to go in so-and-so's office and I need to say something. She said, don't say anything. I was cleaning up his office. I saw your name on the list. You good. And oh, by the way, when her son needed somebody to show up for a career day to talk about finance, that would be me. The executive assistants are the most important people in any organization.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell y'all like this. Do not disrespect paralegals, executive assistants, because they are the people who have the ear to the attorney, and an executive assistant has my ear. Okay? I'm getting ready to pick a new one so that they'll join me out in Charlotte, not in Texas, so the person didn't have to move or do anything extra. The person looks at my stuff before I do. Careful how you talk to people, right? I'm just telling y'all, the people that we keep elevating, I'm be like, well, how did they act towards you? I'm telling you right now, I'm doing a business transaction. It's worth more than $2 million. And I'm talking to the person. I said, well, was this person rude to you? And they said, yeah, they were rude to me. And then the other guy didn't say a word. He kept it mum as the words. He didn't say anything. And I said, why didn't y'all tell me this person was being rude to y'all? Anytime y'all could have called me, I would have got on the phone and I would have corrected them. I didn't know they were being rude to y'all. Yeah, we just didn't want, we didn't want to be, they didn't want to say anything because they were trying to, roll with it. You don't have to roll with it. Depending on who you're working with, they will stand up for you. Okay. You got to understand that's how that goes. Now I'm gonna show this last one. I'm gonna answer your question. Keep telling y'all about Texas and y'all don't understand what's happening. That India doing that oil rig, that was just one thing. That was just one thing. Texas has been overwhelmingly hitting up the Indians. Just the way he's doing those fraud in California and fraud in Minnesota, he coming to Texas next. I already got the word through the grapevine, through a few conservative YouTubers about people needing people to help them do this. You got to realize if you go out and you do some of this commentary with some of these people, baby, YouTube gonna get you up off of here. I'm just tell you right now. All of a sudden your PayPal gonna start working. All of a sudden your other things gonna stop working. So decide wisely which one of these people you want to work with, because there's a lot of exposing data happening. So be careful. But here we go. Let's play this. Hold on, it says it's not playing audio. I hate that shit. Let's try that again. Let's try it again. Last time before I get out of here. Oh, because I know I told him I'm leaving in 5 minutes. I lied. Let me go here. Let's try to play this. Let's try again.
Middle school, but we'll get to the high school here in a minute. Lawler Middle School.
Pay attention for a second. I'm gonna look at this data. I'm trying to make it bigger, but again, this one particular school had 921 people. They had 3% African American, 4% American Indian, because there are American Indians in that part of Texas. 25%, 2.7% Hispanic. So let me just do this away for y'all. They had 80 white kids at the school, 25 Hispanics, 4 Indians, and 30 blacks. They had 762 Asians. The other 20 is a bunch of Jalen, mixed baby Jalen's, okay? And they don't have no football team. They don't have a football team. They couldn't get all 30 black kids to play either, okay? 20 to me, in my mind, I'm like, well, put the 30 black kids and the 25 Hispanic kids outside, but this might be all girls. We don't know. But let me just go ahead and play this for you.
Has 921 total students, 30 African American, 4 American Indian, and 762 Asian. 762. And you guessed it. Those are all from India. That is 82% of the student population. Now let's look at Frisco ISD, shall we? It's 15,000 middle students. High school students is 22,000. Total is 62,000 as of October 31, 2025. So it's not even including the number since then. American Indian, Alaskan, 0.68%. Asian, 45%. And you can see the other numbers, even white people, are of the lower or minority. So that should be a little shocking to you, but let's look at this next one, which is really bad. This is a message I got from one of my followers. One of the FISD trainers had, I don't know what SOAD means, had said they believed Independence will become the first 5A school to drop football in Texas, likely in next years. This is the high school directly across from Temple, and this is their schedule for 2025 to 2026, 0 and 10. Now, that might not seem like such a big deal to you, but for a football team in Texas to not be able to be fielded because the majority of their students are people coming from another country, that should alarm you. That's the whole scam behind this H-1B visa system. Would you ever think that it would be hard for a 5A school?
Okay, you're going to say, Erica, what does that have to do with anything? I don't understand. Exactly. This high school better have a badass cricket team. And I'm going to tell you right now, I bet you they're killer in tennis. I'm going to bet you money they're killer in Texas, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Some of the highest ranked tennis players are black, and the schools hated that. So you started having private schools explode. Now I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And only because I heard it through the grapevine, but also because I know this area. There are a few Asian boosters, right, who are going to fully support the school. Now, what does fully support the school mean? I'm going to tell you what it means. No, Latino kids in Texas play sports. Latino kids in Texas they either play football or they play soccer or football. Nah, the Latino kids built like bread trucks out in Texas. The ones that are skinny, they don't, but the other ones are built like bread trucks. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen in this particular area. They're gonna get a couple of they're gonna get a couple, and when I mean a couple, I mean about 50 Black kids, Black families to move over here where there's apartments or the housing and fill up this football team. I'm not even being funny to y'all. I'm being real. This is what's happening in Texas right now. There are some counties you're like, this school is never competitive. My kid can't go get a scholarship. But what they're going to do is use some booster money like they doing at Texas Tech and other places. And they do this at high schools in Texas. Don't let anybody lie to you in that, oh no, there's no money in Texas school. There's money. They're going to go get it. They're going to get some marketing. They're going to get about 50 Black families or a combination of some husky tall white boys and get their families. Somehow their families are going to move to an apartment that's within the school district. Somehow, some way, they're going to magically be in the school district. And what's going to happen is their team's making a comeback. Look, they won 4 games in a row. And because the news is so loud on this school not having a team, right? And they're going to lose their ranking in Texas. The business owners, they're going to talk to them Asian business owners, say, look, because it ain't all Indians. Some of these are actual, you have a Koreatown over there. You have Koreatown's over in Carrollton. But in Frisco, they do have a Koreatown coming. They're going to talk to these business owners and say, hey, look, this is getting real bad news for our school. You know, we don't want to have that type of news. We're going to recruit some kids from a poor neighborhood that just need a chance. You know, they just need a fresh start. I'm telling you, listen, when you look in Texas, and I do this because I'm in low income building housing, we will build low income housing by certain neighborhoods that there's no other way this family would have lived there except for having an apartment. And what they're going to do is put that football team like, see, what are you talking about? They want that attention off that school tomorrow. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to go recruit some families, some kids from real poor areas, and tell their mom, hey, you know, we got a voucher and you can come over here and we're going to get you this apartment. And it's just if Keisha want to do it. It's just if Mr. Jerome want to move his child over there. That's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. And it's going to be a comeback story in that Texas town. I don't think y'all understand how Texas be running with that money in football. They go crazy. And all this is an opportunity for a business owner to come out there and they're going to have his banner all over the damn, school where he helped sponsor the team and he helped the high school. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. They're going to run around to every business owner that owns something in that area. This is the separation that's coming, right? For a school to have nothing, and this is the same thing is happening in Leander. If you're in Austin, Texas, you know this is happening in Leander. Like I have white friends who don't want to move across town because they know the school's so Asian. Like I don't want my kid over there. And I always ask why. Well, it just doesn't seem very balanced. It doesn't seem very balanced. And I already know what they mean. I'm like, that's not racist. I understand. You don't want to be over there. None but Asians. I get it. Your kid will never be valedictorian. Your kid will never be in the top 10. Cool. Just say that. I know that's what it is. Thank you for your $4.99 super chat. What are the best places to live for vets with their families wherever they want? I ain't trying to be funny with you. I'm really not. 9 times out of 10, vets can live closer to military towns. So let's say, for example, you have Fort Hood. Go live in Austin. You're going to be able to work for Space Force. It's one of the biggest headquarters. Huntsville, Alabama, one of the biggest Space Force tech jobs galore. We have a friend right now who he got a tech job. He's not in Space Force, but he works with Space Force. And they said, hey, man, this whole floor that you're on is going to Germany. Do you want to go or do you want to let your job go and go apply somewhere else? He's going to Germany and they're giving him the money. He's not military at all. And the military is giving him money to move with Space Force to Germany. I don't think you understand how big this tech shit is. They're giving a non-military person and his whole family money to move to Germany. So anywhere a vet wants to live, they can live. To me, the common sense thing is I'm going to be adjacent, somewhat close to a military town that's worth it. Huntsville, Alabama, Austin, Texas. Even though people talk shit about North Carolina, Fort Bragg, I'd be in Raleigh or Charlotte because wherever you are, they have a lot of satellite healthcare and vet problem. Now, the reason so many vets choose Texas is Texas gives you a free acre of land if you're a vet. So I've already had a couple students in here build fourplexes on their free acre of land that the state of Texas gave them as a vet. One of the best veteran benefits is in Texas. I'm not gonna lie to you. Another one is Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is a little rough. So I'd go to another part of Colorado. Well, that's the thing. He signed a contract for like 3 years. So it's a 3-year contract with Space Force. It's not even a 1-year contract. It's like they're paying him and his family to relocate to Germany. They're giving him a certain amount of money and they're giving him like a 3-year contract. So to incentivize him to leave Austin, Texas to come with the Space Force. So he'll be back. But when somebody asks me what's the best place for vets to live, there's so many states pouring money bent over backwards for vets. It just depends. And the third one is Florida. I say number 1 is Texas. Number 2 is Colorado, Denver, Colorado, or Colorado Springs, Colorado, or Aurora, where they had Space Force used to be headquartered. They still have jobs there. And then number 3 is North Carolina. Number 4 is Tennessee. Tennessee has really good benefits for vets. Number 5 is Florida. Now, number 6 is Georgia. I ain't gonna play on Georgia. Georgia has Fort Bend in Georgia and some other places. But yeah, there's some stuff going on there. He said, I tried to join Space Force. They told my ass I need to lose weight. Now, you know what time it is. You can work adjacent to Space Force. Go reach out to Tamika. Go reach out to Women in Linux. They heavy. A lot of people in they group heavy in the Space Force, work with Space Force. Heavy. But I show all this stuff to tell y'all, like, we're in a gilded age. Like, not even trying to be funny. Like, for real. Like, if you want to design a life where you're just chilling, you know what I'm saying? Where I hate to even say chilling because that's but you're just managing properties, you're just managing investments. That's the time we're in. And so if you're in my land grab course, if you haven't got it, we're having a training tomorrow. We'll talk a lot about auctions, some auction properties. I'll have my slides already ready. We'll do that. I probably won't do a live show tomorrow. No problem. I'm just telling y'all. And we'll have another training for Digital Warriors sometime this weekend or whatever. But as I'm sliding to a project to get $10 million, I'm doing my best. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like some of the paperwork process is a little bit more intensive than I thought, but it's been amazing. And there's a lot of money moving around via government contracts, via states. If you were in my Middleman and Millions class, everything I'm talking about in there, we're actually fucking doing. So that's why it takes me so long to do these. The shows are much later than usual, because after you finish talking about 15 daggone businesses in a day, then you follow it with 2 more. You're like, oh God. This is crazy. So hopefully this was a good show for y'all. Again, investing in yourself isn't luxury. It's a necessity. Woo! If y'all only knew. Make sure y'all get those weekly massages. Make sure you get that blood work and take care of yourselves. We are in a gilded age. The choice today to grow, sink, or stall is completely yours. Have a great night, y'all.
Hi, I'm Brandy Williams, founder of Williams Accounting and Tax Services in McDonough, Georgia. We're a full-service accounting firm proudly serving clients nationwide, including military families and U.S. expats. With over 20 years of experience as an IRS-enrolled agent, we've got you covered from past tax returns to business services and strategic tax planning. Visit WilliamsActTax.com. Let's get connected and take your finances to the next level.